Oh, hi. I was just laughing off camera to give the impression that I have a crew that helps me on this show. I don't. I'm all alone. Welcome to this week's episode of Dear Bitchy Waiter. This is the web series where I answer questions sent in by you, the reader. So if you have a question that you want to see on this show, send it to me. sideofmustard@gmail.com. I say it every week, sideofmustard@gmail.com. This web series is sponsored by Herman Law. They are labor attorneys who specialize in the restaurant industry. So if you've got some funkety restaurant things that are maybe not legal at your job, reach out to paycheckcollector.com and they can help you. And there's more information about them at the end of this episode. I'm doing something a little different this week, and I have a live studio audience here. Say hi, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Let's get started with question 1. Dear Bitchy Waiter, I am really socially awkward, so whenever I try to make small talk with customers, it just becomes another epic fail. Any advice? Sincerely, Bambi. Bambi, I love you. I'm sorry your mom got shot. Bambi, I'm going to assume that you are a new server and you still just haven't gotten the feel of waiting tables. When I first started waiting tables back in the early 1800s, I was never shy or awkward because even as a child, I loved to talk to strangers. Even now, I talk way too much. What you have to remember, Bambi, is all of these people who are sitting in your section are just regular old people. They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like all of us do. Except for those people who only wear dresses. Don't get hung up on trying to be super funny or trying to have the best, quickest wit. Just be comfortable in your skin. Of course, my first thought is have a cocktail before you go to work, but that's probably not the best idea. I don't recommend it, unless you're really into that. Hey, I'm Bambi. I'm gonna be your server tonight. How are y'all? I went to the mall the other day and I saw some cute shoes. How is everybody? I love you. If you really want to get into it, maybe you could take an improv class or an acting class or something like that that would make you feel more comfortable talking to other people. Just pretend that you're an actress and you're in a movie about waiting tables and you are the star. Next time you have a friend over, practice on them. Write down what you want to say and say it to your friend. If you said something that you think was socially awkward or maybe you embarrass yourself, don't sweat it, Bambi, because the customers are only thinking about themselves. The customers have moved on. You do the same thing. Don't stress about it. You can practice in a mirror, you can practice with your friends, but Bambi, I'm pretty sure after a couple of months of waiting tables, that's gonna fade away and you're just gonna be an old, bitter, tired pro, just like me. Right, audience? You may think you're socially awkward, but chances are the customers aren't even noticing it. Just know the menu backwards and forward, know your steps of service and get the job done. And don't feel like you're there to entertain. You're there to do a job, which is primarily take the order, bring the food. Everything above that is gravy, and sometimes gravy costs extra. Good luck, Bambi. You got this, girl. Moving on to question 2. Dear Bitchy Waiter, do you go by the tip or the total on a credit card slip when the math is wrong? Signed, Rebecca. It's happened to all of us, Rebecca, because sometimes after a couple of drinks, maybe the customer can't remember how to do math, even though they have a cell phone that's got a calculator app on it. Pick up the phone, the same phone that only minutes before was in the way when I was trying to place a scalding hot plate, but I didn't have any place to put it because they left their phone there. Use the phone to get the calculator app out and figure out the total. I think my veins were bulging on that. Say someone's bill is $35. They write down $7 in the tip line, which would be $42, but they actually wrote $45 down on the total. What are you supposed to do? Take the $7 or take the $10? When the mistake is to our favor, it's tempting to want to take that extra money, right? But if you know they didn't really mean to tip you 85%, come on, Rebecca, take the lower total. But what about when it's in reverse? Say the bill was $80 and you know a good tip would be $16, which would be $96, but they actually only wrote $86. Well, if it's clear that they had already written $16 and you know that you gave them good service, I say take the $16 and just assume that they don't know how to do math. You have to take each one of these cases individually because you never want to take advantage of their mistake. If you can see that what they wrote on the tip line is what they probably meant to give you, in other words, is the tip that they wrote in there about 15 or 20%, go with that. But what if the bill is $80 and they wrote $30 tip, which would be $110 on the total? But they wrote 30, but on the total, they only put $90. Then what are you supposed to do? If the math isn't right, but the tip that they wrote on the tip line is really clear and the total doesn't match, I say take the tip line. And then maybe take a picture of it with your phone just to have it in case they ever come back and say, well, look, you clearly left $30 on here. It's never an easy decision, Rebecca. I would always go to my coworkers and ask them their opinion. See what's going to benefit you the most and make sure that you're doing it in a fair way. I know we're supposed to look at the final total, but just because they can't do math, are we supposed to take a crappier tip? I don't think so. If their tip line is very clear, take that tip. In reverse, what if the bill was $80 and they only wrote $5 for a tip, but then they totaled it at like $100? Are you supposed to take the $20 even though the $5 tip is really clear? Well, in that case, I think I'd take the $20 tip and say, oh, I was going by the total. Yes, see, it's really wishy-washy, Rebecca. There's no right or wrong on this because it's not like there's a legal precedent. At least I don't think there's a legal precedent. Maybe I should reach out to Herman Law. Bottom line, Rebecca, do the best you can. Try to make the best decision that's going to work for you and the customer. Don't take advantage of them, but don't screw yourself either. Take each case individually and make a decision based on your service that you gave them, how they treated you, and how bad you think they are at math. That's it for this week, everybody, so thanks so much. If you have a question, send it to me, sideofmustard@gmail.com. And please follow me on Instagram and Twitter @BitchyWaiter. Come on. You won't regret it. Right, audience? I love my studio audience. I might ask them to come back next week. If you like this web series, like it, share it, leave a comment. Tell me what your answers would be to these questions because, hey, I have good advice, but I'm no genius. Thanks for watching, and as always, tip your server.
Never forget, servers are not servants, customers are not royalty, and employers are not lawyers.